Hello friends, remember in our last video, Box Plots Day 1, we talked about how to create a box plot. So Box Plots Day 2 is going to be all about how to read a box plot. So if you've been given a box plot, you need to be able to answer questions or know what it is that you're looking at in the box plot. So let's go over some vocabulary again, just to remind ourselves. The minimum is the smallest or the least value in a data set, a list of numbers. Maximum is the largest or the biggest value in the data set. The middle of the data, or the median, is the middle value of the whole data set. And then we have these funny words, the lower quartile and the upper quartile. The lower quartile is the middle of the lower half. So if we had a bunch of data all on this line, here's our lowest, smallest, here's our largest, and if we cut our data in half, where the median would be, we took a look at the lower half, the middle of that would be the lower quartile. And if we took a look at the top or the upper half, the bigger numbers, the middle of that would be the upper quartile. So taking a look at the example that we have on our page here, we've got Mrs. Sanchez's Period 1 Math Quiz results. Okay, so let's see if we can identify the numbers from our vocabulary list. So the minimum, the lowest score, is going to be right here. Okay, and so if we look down, we can see that the lowest score a student received on their quiz was a 20 out of 100. So our number line tells us we've got starting at 0 and ending at 100. So that tells us this quiz is either worth 100 points or she's doing this as a percentage, 100%. Okay, so the lowest score is either 20 points or 20%. Now, our maximum score, our highest score, is right here. And if we take that all the way down to the number line, we don't know the exact score, but my guess is that it would be somewhere around like 92 or 93, might be the highest score on the math quiz. Now, our median or middle value is right here, this one in the center. Okay, and again, bringing that down, we don't know an exact score, but I'm going to say it's probably maybe like 63 or 64, okay? And then our lower quartile, the middle of the lower half of the scores, is going to be here, and it's like 29 or 30. And then our upper quartile is right here, and that's 70. Okay, so that's how we read a box plot. So let's go ahead on to the next page. We have a box plot of football game scores on this page. So let's take a look at how this breaks down. So the scores range anywhere from 0 to 40 on our number line. This is the number of points scored. We know that our lowest point is right here, probably 6 or so. And then our highest points right up here is going to be probably 39, something like that. And our middle score right here, maybe like 28 or 29. Lower quartile, probably like 16 or 17, and upper quartile is 35. So we can talk about this data in a couple ways. So knowing that our lower quartile is the middle of the lower half of the data, we can take a look and say that this area right here is the bottom half or the bottom 50% of the data, the lowest scores. And we can also say that this data right here is the upper half or the upper 50% of the scores. So you can see that the lower half of the scores is much more spread out than the upper half of the scores, okay? And then also on our graphic here, we can see that they've already labeled for us that this to this is about 25%, or exactly 25% of the data. From here to here is another 25%. From here to here is another 25%. And from here to here is another 25%. So if you look at this, you can see that, as I was saying before, the upper half, the upper 50%, there's a lot more, it's a lot closer together. So most of our scores, or half of our scores, are kind of bunched together here. There's not a huge variability there. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at another slide and see if we can answer some questions about the box plot that they gave us. So this is reading speed. How fast can you read? So they gave us words per minute as our label down here. So we know that they took anywhere from 1 minute, 60 seconds, to somewhere between 260 and 280. So I'm going to say, well, we know that this here is going to be 270. All right, so that's a faster reader. Our first question says, what is the reading speed of the exact middle of the data? So if you remember, each of these 5 dots stands for a data point. So this is our minimum, this is our maximum, this is our median or our middle, okay? So that's what they're asking us. What's the exact middle reading speed? So I'm going to bring the line down, and we know it's somewhere between 180 and 200. And right halfway between 180 and 200 is going to be 190. So that's going to be our exact middle speed. Letter B says, how many words does the slowest reader read per minute? So we're going to go down here and look at our minimum, and that's 60 words per minute is our slowest speed. Letter C says, how many words do the middle 50% of readers read per minute? So they're not asking for one score, they're asking for the middle half of the scores. So remember, we said on our previous slide, each of those from the minimum to the next point up is 25%. So we've got a 25% here, 25% of our data is here, 25% of our data is here, and 25% is here. All right, so we want to know the middle 50%. So they're talking about here to here. All right, how many words do the middle 50% of readers read per minute? Well, it's not just a one number answer, is it? Because it's quite a vast variation there. So our bottom people, the slowest words per minute in the middle 50% is 120, and the upper is 230. So that's going to be how the number of words per minute that the middle 50% of readers read. All right, so then our next dot plot, or box plot, here at the bottom, we've got one more. It's another reading speed, words per minute. They are asking us, how many words do the fastest 50% of readers read per minute? Well, we know that the fastest readers are over here to the right, but we want to know the top half of the readers here. So we're going to look for our median. Remember, here's our minimum, here's our lower quartile, here's our median, here's our upper quartile, and here's our maximum. So here's our median. We're looking for this group right here. Oops, I don't even want to go that far. This group right here is how fast. So we know that the median speed is 190, and our fastest speed is 270. So our top fastest 50% of the readers read between 190 to 270 words per minute. So that is how you read a box plot. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Just keep in mind that between each data point is 25% of the data.